In this video, we are going to study about the third cranial nerve, the oculomotor nerve. This nerve supplies all the extraocular muscle except the lateral rectus and the superior oblique muscle. In addition, through its connection with the ciliary ganglion, so this is the ciliary ganglion, through its connection with the ciliary ganglion, it supplies the sphincter pupillary muscle and the ciliaris muscle. Next, we'll see the functional components of the oculomotor nerve. So, the first functional component is the somatomotor. So, it conveys the somatomotor fibers to the extraocular muscles. The next functional component is the proprioceptive afferent. The proprioceptive afferent fibers, which arises from most of the extraocular muscle, are carried by the oculomotor nerve, and the cell body of these neurons are located in the mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. The third component is the general visceral efferent fibers. So that means the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers for the constriction of the pupil and for accommodation. Next, we'll see the nuclear origin of the oculomotor nerve. So this is the oculomotor nerve nucleus complex. So this is the oculomotor nerve nucleus complex. So this is a combination of general somatic efferent and general visceral efferent columns. The somatic column is in series with 4th, 6th and 12th cranial nerve and also the ventral roots of the spinal nerve. The nucleus complex is situated in the ventromedial part of the periaqueductal central gray matter of midbrain at the level of the superior colliculus. Next, we'll see the nucleus segments. So this is a schematic picture to show the nuclear complex of the oculomotor nerve. So the components are the dorsolateral nucleus. The dorsolateral nucleus supplies the inferior rectus muscle. Then you have the intermediate nucleus which supplies the inferior oblique muscle. Then you have the ventromedial nucleus which supplies the medial rectus. Then you have the caudal central nucleus which supplies the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. Likewise, you have the raphe nucleus. So this is the raphe nucleus which supplies the superior rectus muscle. Okay. Then you have the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. So this is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, which is an accessory nucleus. It is situated at the cephalic end and the dorsal surface of the dorsolateral nucleus. It gives origin to the preganglionic parasympathetic fibers for the sphincter pupillae and the ciliaris muscle. When you see here, so these are the paired segments of the nucleus. So they supply the extraocular muscle ipsilaterally. But the central nucleus, the caudal central nucleus and the raphe nucleus, they supply the muscle bilaterally. Now we'll see the central connections for the oculomotor nucleus. So this is the oculomotor nucleus. So this is connected by the corticonuclear fibers. So this corticonuclear fibers arises from the motor cortex of the cerebral hemisphere of both sides. Then it is connected by the medial longitudinal fasciculus. So this connects the oculomotor nerve nucleus to the nuclei of 4th, 6th and 8th cranial nerve. The 8th cranial nerve is for hearing and the 3rd, 4th and 6th for the eye movement. So this helps whenever you hear something, you are moving towards that object. So this is the function of the medial longitudinal fasciculus. The next connection is through the tectobulbar fibers or tectobulbar tract, which connects the nucleus through the superior colliculus to the visual cortex. So this connection helps in the visuoprotective reflex. Then the oculomotor nucleus is connected to the pretectal nucleus of the both side. So this is for the direct and consensual light reflex. So this is the diagrammatic picture to show the origin and the course of the oculomotor nerve. So here you can see this is the nuclear complex of the oculomotor nerve, which lies in the periaqueductal gray matter of midbrain at the level of superior colliculus. So the fibers which arises from the nuclear complex passes forward, forming a series of convex lateral curves through the tegmentum of the midbrain and through the red nucleus of the midbrain. So this is the red nucleus, and also the medial part of the substantia nigra. So this is the substantia nigra. So it passes through the tegmental, red nucleus and the medial part of the substantia nigra. The fibers assembled to form a single nerve trunk, which passes through a sulcus on the medial side of the basis pedunguli. From the superficial origin, the nerve is invested by a sheath of pia mater. Then it passes forward in the interpeduncular system between the posterior cerebral artery and the superior cerebellar artery. So the nerve passes in between the posterior cerebral artery and the superior cerebellar artery. Then the nerve accompanies the lateral side of the posterior communicating artery. So this is the posterior communicating artery. So it accompanies the lateral side of the posterior communicating artery. Then it pierces the arachnoid matter and appears in the triangular area of dura mater in front of the crossing of fixed and the free margin of the tentorium cerebelli. The nerve then pierces the meningeal layer of the dura mater lateral to the posterior clinoid process. Then it passes forward within the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. In the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus, it is related successively below with the fourth and the ophthalmic and the maxillary nerve. In the anterior part of the cavernous sinus, the oculomotor nerve divides into a superior rami and the inferior rami. The superior and the inferior rami passes through the superior orbital fissure through the intermediate compartment of the tendinous ring, where the nasociliary nerve lies in between them. Next we'll see the oculomotor nerve in the orbit. In the orbit, this is the superior ramus. So this superior ramus passes forward and upward lateral to the optic nerve. So this is optic nerve. So it passes lateral to the optic nerve and supplies the superior rectus muscle and the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. Next we'll see about the inferior ramus of the oculomotor nerve in the orbit. The inferior ramus divides into three branches. The first branch passes medially below the optic nerve and supplies the medial rectus muscle. The second branch supplies the inferior rectus muscle and the third branch supplies the inferior oblique muscle. The nerve to the inferior oblique sends a communicating branch to the ciliary ganglion, which acts as a parasympathetic route. And all the muscles supplied by the oculomotor nerve receives the nerve supply from the ocular surface, except the inferior oblique, which receives the nerve through its posterior border. When you see the communications of the oculomotor nerve, in the cavernous sinus, it communicates with the sympathetic plexus around the internal carotid artery and with the ophthalmic nerve. The proprioceptive fibers from the extraocular muscle supplied by the oculomotor nerve are handed over to the ophthalmic nerve, and then it is conveyed through the trigeminal ganglion without interruption straight to the mesencephalic nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. In the orbit, it communicates with the ciliary ganglion, which acts as a postganglionic cell station of the parasympathetic fibers. Next, we'll see the clinical anatomy related to the oculomotor nerve. Complete division of the oculomotor nerve on one side, it's manifested as follows. So you have the ptosis or the drooping of the upper eyelid due to the paralysis of the levator palpebrae superioris muscle. Then you have the external squint due to the unopposed action of the lateral rectus muscle. Then you have the dilated and fixed pupil. Then you have the loss of accommodation. Then there will be an apparent protrusion of the eyeball due to the flaccid paralysis of most of the ocular muscle, and the last symptom is the diplopia. So next we'll see about the Weber syndrome. So Weber syndrome, here ipsilateral oculomotor palsy along with the contralateral upper motor neuron palsy or spastic palsy due to the involvement of the corticospinal tract in the basis pedunguli. So this results in Weber syndrome.